Okay, so we are discussing about the auto transformer, and I introduced auto transformer first because we know the two winding transformer. First I told you how a two winding transformer can be connected in an auto transformer fashion, and from the same two winding transformer you can have different voltage level of transformation, and also we noticed that the kVA of the total unit, that is the two winding transformer, can be increased. And it is not to be surprised because of the fact in case of two winding transformer connected in auto transformer fashion, the power transfer takes place from one side to the other not only by magnetic induction but also by direct electrical conduction. So we know how to calculate the new rating of the transformer. Now today I will tell you actually what an auto transformer is. It works on the same principle. You suppose have a magnetic core, that is where I left last class. You have suppose a magnetic core of this form, magnetic core of this form. And of course, to reduce hysteresis, eddy current loss, etc., you have to have laminated plates. So how this structure can be constructed? You consider a thin plate like this, and roll it spirally, go on loading it, so that there will be some thickness. So laminations will be in these directions. That is, if you look at this section, suppose you cut it vertically, and if you look, it will look like this one. Plates will be like this. Okay, insulated plates. And the windings are wound on this transformer in this fashion. A large number of turns, it will continue like this all along the periphery. It will continue, and finally it will come out as another terminal. So these two terminals will come out. So this way winding goes. Therefore, if you energize it with AC supply, the flux direction will be along the direction of the magnetic material, that is phi t. It will either flow this way or that way with time, and therefore there will be induced voltage between any two tappings. If you consider between any two tappings, there will be induced voltage. How much will be the induced voltage? The number of turns existing between these two into d phi dt, like that. Okay, now what you do, you this terminal you suppose say C terminal, and this terminal let us call it some B terminal, the extreme two terminals, and you have to tap any turns you like, you provide a handle here with a carbon brass attached to the handle. This is carbon brass. So, and this can be rotated externally. The position of this one can be rotated. Suppose I move like this, and through this handle goes a wire which is electrically connected to the carbon brass. As you move it, carbon brass will touch different tappings, different turns, thereby changing the number of turns. And this wire is taken out and called E, the variable point, like the jockey of a rheostat. So this diagram can be symbolically shown like this. C here, E here, and this I am calling B, and it is wound on a closed magnetic circuit like this. Okay, so this is the representation of an auto transformer. So in this transformer there will be a single winding, single continuous winding, and you apply voltage between two extreme terminals, and you can get between C and D variable voltage, because if you move it up and down, number of turns will be changed. So this is the construction of a laboratory variac or auto transformer, whatever you call. But before, so in such cases, in auto transformer, I would like to compare the performance, compare the performance between a two winding transformer and an auto transformer. Now, to compare the performance means we have seen that I can get a desired for a given input voltage V1 here, I can get a desired output voltage V2. Suppose I want V2 output voltage. Now, the same thing I could also do by using a two winding transformer V1 V2, is not. When you compare two things, they must be brought to the same level. Then you start comparing. That is, the problem is I want to convert a V1 voltage single phase to V2 voltage such that that I can do by using a two winding transformer. That is, V1 is the input voltage, V2 is the output voltage. And also the kVA rating I must specify. That is, in the output the kVA will be V2 I2 I want to get. Now, the same task I want to do by using an auto transformer. That is, the two winding transformer rating is such that V1 I1 equal to V2 I2. Suppose number of turns are N1, number of turns N2 here. Okay. So, obviously, in a two winding transformer, N1 I1 is equal to N2 I2 if you neglect that magnetizing current, which is very small. Now, let me do the same thing by using an auto transformer. This voltage is V1 I will apply. I would like to get at the output a voltage of V2, and when this output current will be I2, your input should be I1 here. The flux level in the core has to remain constant if I am comparing same thing. So, whatever is the number of turns N1 here, that must be between these 2 points, number of turns there. And let us call this number of turns to be N2. So, number of turns in this zone will be N1 minus N2. Okay. Now, it can be shown, that is what I am going to show here, that with some turns ratio, use of auto transformer may be advantageous, but turns ratio differing, I mean quite low or high, this may not be that much attractive. Now, that attractiveness or usefulness of an auto transformer can be understood by considering the amount of copper required in constructing an auto transformer and in constructing a two winding transformer for same kVA and voltage ratios. So, how do I do it? We will try to calculate the ratio of copper required in auto transformer divided by copper required in a two winding transformer. Now, amount of copper required will be proportional to what? Length of the copper wire and the cross sectional area, that is the volume and density, etc. That is the winding. length will be proportional to what? Number of turns. So we can say that the volume of copper will be proportional to length into area, length of copper into cross sectional area of copper. But length is proportional to the number of turns. Can you tell me area will be proportional to what in terms of current, right? So it will be proportional to current, because larger the cross sectional area, you have to choose the cross section depending upon the current rating you want to pass through that piece of wire. So volume of copper will be proportional to the number of turns into I. Okay. So in a two winding transformer, copper required in a two winding transformer is very simple to calculate. It will be simply proportional to N1I1 plus N2I2. Okay. Because for primary you have to provide copper, for secondary you have to provide copper. So for primary N1I1 plus N2I2. Now how to calculate the copper required in a two winding transformer? Let us see. Now to do that, we have to find out the current distribution in an auto transformer. So once again I am just drawing it. Suppose this is this one. This current is suppose I1, this current is I2, and these are all dots wherever you consider the upper terminal. This is your V1, and this whole number of turns, as I have told you, this is N1, and this is N2, and this is your I2, this is your I1. So this current flowing in this direction will be I2 minus I1, this current, and this current is flowing down like this, I1. What will be the MMF balance equation in this transformer? That is, this segment has got some number of turns and carries some current, and this segment has got certain number of turns, carries some current. But the direction of the flux produced by the upper portion will, let us assume, it will be in the upward direction, that is N1 minus N2 into I1 is the MMF produced by this portion, because number of turns here is N1 minus N2, and MMF produced by the lower portion, the current leaves from the dot, this I2 minus I1 will be in the opposite direction, such that the MMF is, net MMF acting is the no load MMF, whatever was acting. So these two things must be constant, I2 minus I1 into N2. Okay. So if you simplify this one by balancing the MMF, if you simplify this one, N1 I1 minus N2 I1, and here also on this side minus N2 I1. So this will cancel out, and you will be getting N2 I2 here once again. N2 I2. This relation will also hold good from the MMF balance equation. So this is MMF balance equation. So copper required in an auto transformer Tell me, for this portion it will be proportional to what? Be proportional to, for this portion, N1 minus N2 is the length into I1, plus for this portion, N2 into I2 minus I1. We are trying to calculate the ratio. So ratio, this one will be ratio that ratio I am not once again writing, that is auto by two winding transformer, the same ratio. This will then become equal to N1 minus N2 into I1 plus of N2 into I2 minus I1 divided by N1 I1 plus N2 I2. N1 I1 plus N2 I2. Now you can simplify yourself also parallelly the top one and bottom one. So this will be N1 I1 plus N2 I2. This will be N1 I1 plus N2 I2. That is this term and this term. Then minus N2 I1 minus N2 I1 and minus N2 I1. So twice. Is that correct? Divided by, I can write it as 2 N1 I1. And the top one is also equal to 2 N1 I1. So it will become, in essence, if you cancel out 2 N1 I1 by N2 I1 over N1 I1. So N1 I1 minus N2 I1 by N1 I1. Now if you separate it out, this ratio of copper will become 1 minus N2 over N1. Okay, N2 over N1. Or this will be equal to 1 minus 1 over A, or whatever you call it. So ratio of copper required in an auto transformer and in an two winding transformer is given by this ratio. Perhaps you can save some copper if trans ratio is somewhat appropriate range or things like that. If turns ratio is close to unity, then the savings of copper will be rather high. If turns ratio is much away from unity, then the savings of copper in auto transformer, that is the advantage you get over two winding transformer, will not be very much. What I mean to say by ratio, suppose you want to change voltage from 6000 volt to say 400 volt. Here the ratio is quite high, 6000 is to 400. And in another case, suppose you require to change the voltage from 6000 to say 5000 volt. Now here also you can use a two winding transformer, auto transformer, or two winding transformer, auto transformer. What I am trying to tell, in such case, in this case, auto transformer may be economical for same flux in the core, for same volt ampere, and so on. Therefore, remember, auto transformer, if you want to get variable voltage means fixed output voltage from a fixed input voltage, then you can choose an auto transformer provided the transformation ratio is rather close to unity, otherwise not. Obviously, if A equal to 1, this is 0, is not. It means that you don't require any transformer. Transformation ratio 1 means you don't require any transformer. That is. Therefore, and another important thing I would like to tell in relation with VARIAC, in the laboratory, whatever you use, they are called VARIAC, but they are known by different trade names. VARIAC, AutoStat in the market, AutoStat or Dimerstat. Thermostat. Now, thermostat, autostat, this finds wide applications in the sense that wherever you require, at least in the beginning of the century or things like that, wherever you wanted to control the, say, illumination level, for example, stage lighting in a theater, it was only variac they used. You can have a smooth variation of the output voltage to control the level of illumination, or of course for experiments, carrying out experiments where you will require variable supply voltage. So these are laboratory type where you can use this one. But the essence of this one should not be confused in the sense that when I say an auto transformer and I calculate this one, the copper required, this definitely means that when I am writing like this, the copper required for this portion is N2 into I2 minus I1. What I am assuming, the cross-sectional area of this wire, this portion, is different from cross-sectional area of that portion. Are you getting that point? What I am now trying to tell, this analysis ratio of auto transformer to winding transformer, whatever I have done, what I have assumed, when I will make this auto transformer, the cross-sectional area of this portion will be different from cross-sectional area of this portion. Then only I will get that economic advantage. Are you not? Now, in a variac, this I am changing all the time. So, in a variac, that difference in cross-section is not made in the laboratory type of variac or things like that. It is an auto transformer with constant cross-sectional area. That is, economic consideration is not the sole thing there. You want to have some source of power which will give you over a wide range variable supply voltage, so that you can do some experiments or things like that. Are you getting? So, strictly speaking, when we say an auto transformer, and if you want to get advantage, the cross-sectional area of this portion and that portion will be different. Now, where those auto transformers are then used? They are used in very practical situations. That is, you design an auto transformer for a particular setting here. No question of varying this over a wide range like your variac. This point must be understood. Now, where they can be used? In very large power applications they are used. I will cite you two examples. One example is, suppose you know that any modern power system nowadays all are interconnected. That is, in general, the Eastern region grid they will tell, North Indian grid, power supply fails in the grid. What essentially it means that there will be several generating stations, is not, over say Eastern region. And now we talk of national grid. That is, all generators will be connected in parallel with the help of transmission line, substation, etc. So that it becomes a common bus where all generators are connected or trying to feed power. And whereas the loads are also connected to the lines. That is, all in single line diagram it is shown like this. Several generators will be connected. Say Eastern region, some 10, 12 generators, say Kolaghat power station, Bandel thermal power station, say Talcher, Odisha power stations, all will be connected in parallel through, of course, transmission line, because they are far off, they are connected. So this type of connection, and then loads will be there. This is called bus. Loads will be there. Industrial load, ultimately various loads will be connected. But the point I want to make, whenever you connect two generators in parallel of different, say Odisha State Electricity Board, West Bengal State Electricity Board, the voltage levels should be equal. Then only you can connect two things in parallel. Two batteries, suppose I say one battery is 3 volt, another battery is 1 volt. You cannot connect them in parallel. If you connect, there will be large circulating current within itself. So voltage levels of various states or grids may not be same. In fact, the difference in voltage, in spite of all knowing that I will connect them in parallel, they may not be exactly equal, but they may differ very slightly. Very slightly means one is suppose 11 kV line, another is 10 kV line, and I want to connect them in parallel. Then I want to join these two systems. Here comes your auto transformer. You can connect them by a two-winding transformer also, by taking 11 kV to 10 kV and connect this side there, this side there. They will be parallel. But what I am trying to tell, to take advantage of the auto transformer, here the ratio of the voltage transformation may not be that high, very close to unity. There you connect auto transformers. So auto transformers are widely used to connect two power systems at different voltage levels and the ratio not differing much from unity. That is what I want to point out. And in such auto transformers, the setting is not like a variac, you just vary this one, get output voltage like that. So it should be distinguished from this dimmerstat, variac, autostat that you use in lab. In lab, what is the ratio? Ratio is wide, starting from 1 to say 0. So there that economic consideration I think is not proper to say, because same cross section where you will be using. So auto transformer finds application there, and also it finds another application. Auto transformer is to start induction motors, large induction motors. That we will take up when we will study induction motor. There also auto transformers are used, okay, of a particular setting. So this you should keep in mind, being an electrical engineer. Now after this one, let us try to understand, is there any problem with auto transformer? Yes, there is one objection of an auto transformer. At least suppose you use a two-winding transformer, V1 to V2, and an auto transformer, say V1 to V2 here, V2 here. Now as you can see in this connection, the load side is totally isolated from this primary side. Isolation is there, present. That is, this could be high voltage side, this is suppose low voltage side. Now what I mean to say by isolation is that, suppose the secondary winding, LV side of this two-winding transformer, because of some fault gets opened, somewhere gets cut, the winding, one of the turns is damaged and it becomes open circuited here, suppose because of some reason or other, that winding gets spoiled and it is open in between. How much will be the voltage across the load? 0 voltage, because there is open circuit in this one. No EMF exists. If you connect a voltmeter now, no voltage. Of course, between these there will be voltage. Between these there will be voltage. But across the load, no voltage, because no current can flow here. So the load is well protected. That is, if some problem occurs in the secondary of the transformer, it is. Similarly, in the primary side, if it is opened, of course, no problem. There is no flux developed by the primary. Therefore, we say that the load is isolated nicely from the HV side, which is not the case in case of a auto transformer or say variac or whatever it is. In which way? Because let us assume there is a load connected here. This is suppose the HV side, this is LV side. Now if the winding gets cut here in the common portion, there is a common portion of the winding, if it gets cut here, then will the voltage across the load be 0? No. The circuit will be now like this. This some turns here, then this load, this load. Therefore, the circuit gets connected to the high voltage circuit, I mean like a conduction circuit, electrical without any mutual coupling, etc. Therefore, the load may experience now larger voltage across it, which sometimes may be dangerous, and it may also spoil your load, costly load which you have connected. Therefore, auto transformer does not provide any isolation that way. Of course, primary open circuit no problem, but in this common portion, if a fault occurs in the form of an open circuit in the common portion of the winding, then the load connected may experience larger voltage for greater than its designed voltage. Okay. So, in an auto transformer, these are some of the problems. Okay. However, since it is a single winding and the flux level is same, efficiency wise also it may be slightly better, because there is a single winding of different cross section, copper loss may be slightly less, etc. Now, I will tell you, before telling about those things later perhaps, what I would like to tell, that telling all these things, now you should be in a position to what should I say, to solve say such problems. Let me see how you have understood. Suppose I have a auto transformer here. Okay, auto transformer here. Here also turns are there. Suppose this auto transformer, a single winding transformer we call it, and here you suppose apply 200 volt. 200 volt. Suppose this auto transformer has got two tappings like this. Suppose the number of turns in each section is, suppose for simplicity I have taken 50 turns, it could be different also, 50 turns, 50 turns. It is just for academic exercise, but it will make things further clear, slightly complicated. Now, suppose I have connected a load here, say a resistive load. Let us call it is 25 ohm. And I have connected a load there, say 30 ohm. Now, what is the voltage per turn? I want to find out all the current distribution in this 2 volt per turn. So, how much will be the voltage between this 100 volt? This you can straight away write 100 volt. How much will be the voltage across this load? 300 volt, right? 300 volt. Then how much will be the current here? 10 ampere. And this current will be 4 ampere. Tell me how much will be the current here first. What is the output power? 300 into 10 plus 100 into 4 divided by 200. So, how much it comes? Correctly you tell, whatever you will tell I will write. I am not going to calculate. 17 ampere, okay, 17. What will be the current in this portion? 17 comes here, 10 goes. 7 ampere. 4 goes there, 7 comes. So, 3 in this direction. I think all are matching. 10 plus 4 plus 3, 17. Now, this way you find out the current distribution. But what I am trying to tell you after that to examine that this current distribution, whether they are correct or not. See, these are all dots. These are all dots. Because same winding follows, na? Same winding continues. So, these are all dots. Now, what will be the MMF produced by this portion? See, net MMF must sum up to 0. What will be the MMF produced by these 50 turns? 50 into 10, and let us put some direction. Suppose it gives you in the upward direction, that MMF. Suppose from dot current comes out means suppose the MMF is in the upward direction. Like that, the MMF in this portion will be 7 into 50, that is 50 into 7 Ni. And through the dot current enters. So, this direction of the MMF will be downward. And this portion 50 into 3 downwards. You can see the sum of this is equal to this, such that the flux produced by it. So, whatever may be there could be several another loading here. I think you will now be in a position how to show the direction of the currents properly and calculate the MMF distribution. But I will ask you to think over this one, which I may discuss in my next class. What happens if the load power factors are different? Can I just numerically add? Are you getting what I am telling? Suppose this load I replace by some Z1 theta 1. This load I replace by some Z2 theta 2. You just note down, right, that how to calculate the currents if the impedances are different. You give some thought to it. Okay? And why we can just numerically something we are adding, getting the power. It is because of the fact power factor is same, that you can easily examine. Because all the voltages are in the same phase. Currents will be, if it is same impedance, currents will be in same phase. Is not? You have to, then you can add them just like algebraic expression. But which will not be the case if these impedances are different. Suppose theta 1, this is also theta 1. Then also you can apply this algebraic thing. But if it is theta 1, if it is theta 2, then you have to take phasor sum to get the current. That you think over it. This I leave it to you. Now, after this auto transformer connections, I will tell you about the three-phase transformers. Three-phase transformer. Now, three-phase transformers, obviously our power system is three-phase system, not a single phase. So, from the generating station to the transmission line, whatever transformer is there, power transformer they are called, I told you, that is three-phase transformer. Then in a substation, you step down that voltage, that will be also a three-phase transformer, like that. And in the lowest level, it will be a 6006, generally, I mean, this is a typical rating, 6 kV to 440 volt, delta star connected transformer. And from one line and one neutral goes to your house or to your hostel, RN, YN, BN, like that. So, all transformers at that level are three-phase transformers. Okay. So, how to understand the operation of a three-phase transformer and how it can be constructed. So, first thing I will take up that a three-phase transformer, you first write down, can be obtained by using three identical single-phase transformers. You can have a three-phase transformer by using three identical or similar rather will be the correct terms, practical transformer, identical or similar, similar, 3 identical or similar transformers. By using 3 identical or similar single phase transformer. This is the first thing. You can have a 3-phase transformer connection. And in such cases, such a 3-phase transformer is called a bank of 3-phase transformer. Because bank of 3 single phase transformers you are using. Okay. So a bank of 3-phase transformer. This way if you do it. And secondly, you can construct a 3-phase transformer and connect it. And that is a single unit of 3-phase transformer. This way you can do. Now, to tell you the principle first, I will take up this one. That is, suppose 3 single phase transformers are available to me of same ratings, and suppose the rating of the transformer is primary side rating is V1 I1, this one, case 1, and secondary rating is V2 I2. Such that obviously V1 I1 is equal to V2 I2. The rated current is I1 of the primary winding and I2 is the rated current of the secondary winding. Now, 3 such transformers you take. Now, what I am trying to tell, that suppose I connect these 3, the primaries of this in star, I connect, and the secondaries also I connect them in star. This is the primary side, secondary side. All the 3 primaries connected in star, 3 terminals will come out. Similarly, all the secondaries you connect them in star, 3 terminals will come out. Now, what you do, you apply balanced 3-phase voltage to, I want to apply balanced 3-phase voltage to these 3 terminals. What line to line voltage should I apply? Are you getting the problem? 3 single phase transformers are identical. V1, V2 is the voltage rating of each of the windings of those transformers. I have connected these V1 sides of all the windings in star, and I want to energize from a 3-phase source. 3-phase source. You tell me what should be the line to line voltage to be applied to this side. Root 3 into V1. Correct. 3-phase, the line to line voltage you apply, root 3 into V1. Because then only the winding voltage will be V1, which is the rated voltage. Getting? Now, since you are applying balanced 3-phase voltage here, suppose I call it A now. Suppose A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1, C2. The voltage applied across the primary of the transformer A, whose terminals I have marked as A1, A2, and voltage applied across the second transformer B, B1, B2 terminals, they will be time displaced by 120 degree, because supply voltage is like that. Now, once A1, A2 is energized, its secondary, suppose small A1, A2, will have induced voltage in phase with the induced voltage of capital A1, A2. Suppose the applied voltage is like this, A1, B1, C1, and this point is A2, B2, C2 will be the neutral point. Now what I am trying to tell, the induced voltage in the secondary of transformer A will be in phase with this one. We have seen. Induced voltage of transformer B, it will be in phase with this B1. And induced voltage of transformer C will be in phase with C1, C2. That is, this is B1, B2, this is C1, C2. So three transformers are named as A, B, C. The primary winding terminals are marked as capital A1, A2 for the transformer A. Its secondary terminals is small a1, A2. Second transformer, capital V1, B2, small v1, B2, and like that C-phase transformer. So I can connect in this fashion. Tell me, if I connect a voltmeter between the line to lines of the secondary, how much it will read? Root 3 V2. Because the moment this transformer gets V1, its secondary will have V2. Now I would like to load it with a three-phase load. So tell me how much maximum current should I allow to flow through the secondary? Balanced load you assume, and think over that. So in our next class I will continue with this. Okay.